Yeah, I would imagine they all had an influence on my decision, but at the end of the day, it was about myself and my own experience. I obviously would have spoke to my wife. I obviously would have spoke to my manager Brian Cody and my parents at home, and I would have taken their advice. But you make a decision yourself, so they obviously help you make your decision, but you make the decision yourself. So that's the way it would have went.
You started inter-county hurling with the senior team in 1999. Since then you've won 10 All-Irelands. Which one of those All-Irelands do you think you played best?
Played the best, or to be honest, I would imagine 2012 was when I played at the Pinnacle. I played one of my greatest performances ever, was actually in the draw in All-Ireland that year, and I played very well the following day. So that's what we, as sports people, we dream of playing at the height of our game on the biggest occasion, and that for me would have been it. So that's the highlight for me.
Who do you think outside of the Kilkenny players marked you the best?
I'm being local here. I would class Sean O'Halpine has probably been my toughest opponent, so up the Cork lads.
Is there any injury that made you think it was just too hard to come back to inter-county hurling?
There was injuries, when I spoke to your colleagues, there was injuries where I would have struggled, and definitely it would have been a big challenge for myself. I had 4 very serious injuries, but you know, I never felt it wasn't worthwhile putting in the effort or putting in the hard work. I always wanted to get back on the field. I got such a great buzz out of it, so in essence no, but there was challenges, but that's what sport brings, ups and downs, you know.
What do you think of the new rule in hurling, that there can only be one in goal for a penalty?
I'm not quite sure about it. It would be interesting to see how this championship goes. I would have felt that the old rule was definitely discriminated against the forwards in the sense that you couldn't hit the ball inside 21. But I think it might be good having 3 defenders, 6'2", maybe standing in a line, makes the goal look very small. So to hit the ball from maybe 21 yards is very difficult. So I think this rule is a bit of, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe it might be too heavily weighted in the forwards, but I think this summer will tell that.
If you could change one rule in hurling, what would it be and why?
I was big for the advantage rule, which obviously has come into place as well. So I think that's, I wouldn't change too much else about it. I think the advantage rule, which as I said has come in, will be very good.
Are you trying to get your kids interested in hurling or camogie, or are you letting them make up their own minds?
I'm letting them make up their own minds, but I would encourage them to be in sport. I think sport in general is very good. The environment of not sitting at an iPad or a computer and sitting down all day, which I think is very good. Obviously we can learn a lot from it. It's amazing to see what you're doing here today, but I think it is very important to have the balance as well of the environment of getting out. So my daughter, which is 7, like, is swimming, horse riding, camogie, so she's doing it all at the moment, and then I think she will be able to make up her mind then, you know.
Our class had a few questions. One of them was what type of hurley and what size hurley do you use?
Yeah, I used the Star Hurley, is what it's called. It was Downing Hurling in Kilkenny, and I used size 37. So some of your classmates are going to be amazed, say that is so big. So when I started playing first, a long time ago, everyone had a big hurl, but now they all use small hurls. So I would imagine with me retiring, this is a scoop for yourself now, with me retiring there'll be no one playing with a 37-inch hurl next year, I'd say.
What's your favourite snack?
Oh, I love this question because I've retired and my diet is not very good at the moment, so everything I would have loved to have had during my career is, but my favourite snack would be a bit of chocolate, I would imagine. Probably like us all.
What are your views on the player burnout, especially for inter-county dual players that we have in Cork?
Yeah, it's a difficulty obviously because in Kilkenny we don't have that dual situation. I think it is difficult, especially at the inter-county level, but for people, you know, in your younger age, I think play the games as much as you can. I think the training aspect is the thing that between the managers they need to sort out. I don't think playing matches is a difficulty, but I think if you're training too much, that's when the burnout situation arises, you know.
Thank you for answering.